Hi everyone. So this is a quick demo of the N8N workflow that we have to create for RAG. So this is a RAG bot wherein you are uploading the data on your Pinecone vector store and then you are retrieving it via a chat bot, right? So all of the GitHub repository and step by step, step by step detailed, you know, know-hows are over here in the GitHub repository for the creation of this specific workflow. This is these are the various steps that we will be taking. And I have already put it on my GitHub repository. You can share this or, you can see this specific Excel and follow it step by step, whatever we are creating. But in this class, I will only take a cue of this and then we will create the whole workflow. Okay, cool. So the workflow is divided into two. One is when you are loading the data on a Pinecone vector store. And then the second part to it is you are retrieving the data via a chatbot over here. This chatbot or this trigger can be anything. This can be your Telegram, etc., etc. Okay, so let's get started. Right, let's get started. So the first of all, what we will do is we will go to this N8N canvas. Okay, and let's give this a name, which is loading of data, and today is 21 Feb, right? So I am giving this as 21 Feb 2026. Okay. So I have given this a name. So the first thing that we are going to do is we are going to have this trigger, right? Which is how we are going to get, or from where are we going to get this specific, information. It can be in the form of PDF, it can be in the form of image, etc., etc., right? So first of all, what we are going to do is in Google Drive we have this trigger, right? Let's on changes involving a specific folder. What we are going to do is we are putting our files onto a specific folder, right? And what we I'm going to use is I am going to use a trigger on changes involving a specific folder. And one thing that is very important over here is where do you want to, fetch the data from. So for this specific project, what I have done is, let me just go to this Google Drive. What I have done is this is a document of iOS 18. Okay, this is a 23-page document which iOS or for which it has been just came into market, and this is the specific use case, or this is the specific document that which you are going to use in your rack system. Okay, so what we are going to do is, first of all, we are uh, pointing towards that specific Google folder or Google Drive wherein we will be uploading it. And then what we will watch out for is file created. Whenever there is a new file that is created, this specific workflow has to run on its own. Okay. Apart from it, there is one more thing, which is how do you create this credential, right? And these are the various steps. Okay. If you want to create a Google Drive credential, right, you have to have an account on your cloud.console or Google console. Okay. These are the various steps that are that have to be followed while doing this. So I have already put it in the GitHub repository as a PDF. Okay, and the name is Lab Training Mini Model. You can go over there. You can just follow these steps. Apart from it, what you have is this documentation as well as a video tutorial as well, from which you can take a help with and set up your Google Drive or in anything, right? So we will not go into the details of how do you create it, but rather we will focus on the workflow. Okay. So now what we have done is we have this Google Drive trigger. What we are going to do is I'm just going to trigger it and I will have one input. Okay, these are the different inputs which has, if I go to the schema, then there are capabilities. Okay, web link view, icon view, all of those details are being fetched. Now the second step is to download this file, right? So what we are going to do is we are just extending it, and I will use Google Drive over here. And in Google Drive, I would want to download the specific file, right? So what I'm going to do is file, download, and then from the list, which is, you know, which is my this json.id, right? So okay, from list, which is there is a ID over here, which you will get. Okay, let me just see it. Yeah, here is the ID, and you are going to just drag and drop it over here. And let me just execute it. Okay, okay, so yeah, here it is, here it is, here it is. So what we are going to do is we are going to type this one, which is json.id, and let me just show you this where this ID is coming from. Okay, so here is it. Under Google Drive trigger, you have this ID which you want to drag and drop over here. Okay, see, right? Now what we are going to do is we are going to execute this step. Okay, and now we have this file that is there, right? Now the next step is to have or upload this on a Pinecone vector store. Then what we are going to do is we are going to just have this Pinecone vector store, and what we want to do is we want to add documents to vector store. Okay, so this is the whole Pinecone setup. How do you set up your own, how do you set up your own database into Pinecone? Let's just go to pinecone.io. This is the specific website which we are going to use for this specific case study. I'm going to you have, if you are a first time user, you have to sign up. Okay, I'm just logging in since I already have an account, and this is what I get once I sign up and then I log in. Okay, you will get multiple indexes over here. What you need to do is you need to go to this create index. You just put in your name. Let's say I put in the name as dummy or dummy index for rag. Okay, or for rag. Okay, what we are going to use is this text embedding small model, and please note that you have to use 512 dimensions. Now, what are dimension? Dimension is nothing but the quality of the token that is generated. What is token? Whenever you are, modifying your text to a numerical value, that is called your token. Okay. So what we have to do is we have to take the dimension as 512. Then let capacity mode be as it is, cloud provider be as it is, region be as it is, and then you create that index. Okay. Once you have created the index, hold for a while, and then go to API keys, right? From here, also, get your API key. Okay, and you can just put it the name whatever you want to, and then you will have multiple API keys over here. Okay, so this is how you set up your credential. Okay, now what I'm going to do is the operation mode will be insert documents. The Pinecone index will be the index that I have created over here. Okay, let me just go back. The index that you are going to use or the name that you are going to use, it will reflect over here. So just like that, I have multiple indexes over here, right? Dummy, accelerator, N8, etc., etc. So these are the different indexes. Okay. So let me just go back. Let me show you what I'm using. I'm using this particular index, which is called dummy access, right? Let me select that dummy access. Embedding batch size, let it be 200, which is by default. Okay. And let's move or come back. Okay. Now we are going to add two things. One is embedding. Let me just zoom in. One is, embedding that you are going to use. Now, what is embedding is we have this text, right? From that text, I want to convert into a vector, and then I want to store into my vector store. For that, embedding is required. And then what we need, the second thing that we require is a document loader. Right? What this document loader does is it essentially uploads your document, you know then distributes into multiple pieces and then uploads onto a vector store. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to attach is this embeddings. Okay, I'm going to use embedding OpenAI and text3 small. Now there is one more important thing, which is dimension, right? In while creating our dimensions in Pinecone, which we had this 512, this should be the same in this also. So dimension, use 512. Okay, you have this already in place. And the next thing that you have to do is you have to attach a default document loader, right? The type of data that you are getting is binary, which is this file. Okay. Then what you also need to do is you need to, load all the input data, automatically detect by MIME type. Now there are multiple text splittings. Okay. You can use custom text splitting. We are using simple text splitting. Now, what is text splitting? Again, that question is answered in my GitHub repository. Let me just show you. Okay. You go to this N10 theory and projects. Then you go to this specific project, which is RAG agent. And over here, you will see there are, multiple type of text splitters. Okay, character recursive token splitter. This is the whole theory. And also I have created a playground for you, which will essentially give you what the look and feel of what different text splitting methods are, right? But for simplicity, in this specific use case, I'm only going to use a simple text splitting property. Okay, cool. Now we are done with the workflow, which will be uploading the data, right? So what I'm going to do is I am just going to execute this workflow. Now the Google Drive trigger has worked and it has got downloaded, and the data has been uploaded to Pinecone. So if you see over here, you can see 78 items. So all the PDF, that 23-page PDF that we had, this one, you know, got into multiple chunks, and there were 78 chunks which got uploaded into Pinecone. And if you just come back to this specific, dummy access index file over here in the Pinecone, you will see, your data records. See over here, show it more, text. Okay, new features available, right? So what has been done, the data has been chunked and has been stored into your vector database. Okay, so now we are done with the first part. Okay, one second. Okay, let's go to the other workflow, which is this one, which is wherein I am retrieving my data. I also have to retrieve this specific data, right? Once the data is uploaded, I have to retrieve it, and this, as of now, is being done via a chatbot. Okay, so let's create this workflow wherein we have to, retrieve the data via this chatbot. The data is already stored. What application of it is, whenever there is a new file, okay, whenever there is a new file that is uploaded, this trigger will, this will get triggered. Okay, and it will get uploaded and it will add it to your vector database. Okay, now let's go to that part wherein we are going to get, or how the user will see my whole application. Okay, let's create one more workflow, and let's name it as retrieve the data. Date is, today's date is 21 Feb 2026. Okay, both of these JSONs are already uploaded onto GitHub repository. You can just download it and see what are the nitty-gritties. However, I would really request you, please see this video, pause it, and then create this workflow on your own. It will help you to, think and then create further more workflows and attach more tools. So take a reference from these two JSONs, but please do not just directly take them on the face of it and do not copy paste it, right? With that, let me come to the second flow, which is retrieving the data, right? So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I want to have a chat trigger, right? This chat trigger we have already, saw in our previous classes that it takes an input. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I am going to add an agent over here. Okay, now let's customize this agent. Okay, the connected chat trigger or source for prompt will be this only. Okay, it will automatically be tabulated in your flow. What we need to have is we need to have a specific system message. For system message, what should I need to put? Let's go back to our, yeah, this one, this Excel sheet. Okay, and I'm just going to put this over here, and I will just come back to the screen. Okay, now, what I need to add, let me just save it, right? What I need to add is three things. One is I need to have a chat model. Second is optional, which is memory. You can have it or you cannot have it. The third is tool, which is my Pinecone vector database, right? So first of all, let's add up an OpenAI chat model. And we can use any of the chat model that you want to, right? ChatGPT 4.1 mini, etc., etc. You can use 5.2, okay? Whatever you want to. Then we will have a simple memory as well. Okay, you can put in the context window as according to you. If you want to have last 10 conversation, last 5 conversation, whatever you want to. Now a critical thing is Pinecone vector tool, right? So let me add this Pinecone vector tool. Okay, the first thing that we need to have is we need to have, we need to have this Pinecone account. This will be, the settings will be very same. The operation mode is retrieve documents, and you need to put a description as well, which is this, right? That please retrieve the data from this vector store, and the list will be the same that we uploaded our data, which is this dummy access, right? Because wherever you are putting your database, from there only you can retrieve it, right? So that's the simple logic that we are going to use. Okay, what we are going to next is, then I'm going to save it. Let me just put it over here. And the next thing, or the last thing, is having a embedding over here. Okay. So in embedding, what I'm going to use is dimensions as 512. Do not use any other dimension other than 512. Otherwise, your workflow will not work. Okay. Let me just save it. And once I have a chat with it, let me, chat with it. And let's try it. Let's try something from this document itself. Okay. Okay. Let's ask some question which via which we can get, some numbers out there. So let me just search for some numbers. Yeah. See, reduce gaming audio latency for high definition. Okay. Let me ask this for reduce gaming latency. Hi. What is the latency in iOS 18 for AirPods, right? Specifically for AirPods. Let's see what it does. And it will retrieve the data, and we have the answer as 16 bits, 48 hertz. Let me see if it comes. You see, it is coming 16 bits, 48 hertz, improved game, etc., etc. Okay, all of this is written over here. Let's use something else, right? Okay, guest access. Provide time-based access to logs garage up for up to 29 guests, right? Let's ask this question for guest access. How many people can access it at max? Okay, let's see what it gives. Okay, might be I have to change my query. Okay, guest access. Tell me about guest access. Tell me, tell me about guest access. So what we can do is, in this scenario, is we can upgrade the model. What we are using is, okay, however, specific details are available in the document, not provided in the available document. Okay, so this is the answer that we have got, right? And in the very same manner, what we can do is we can go to this specific document, see, and then try it. And how the workflow will be, whenever there is a new document on the Google Drive that is uploaded, it will automatically get over there, and you can chat with it, right? So this is a simple workflow. Everything is there on my GitHub repository. Please feel free to try it. Okay, there are many things that can be done. Okay, thanks a lot. Thank you.